so I've even got a little graphic for you if you want it. So let's start with the top one. And at the top of this, you can see all of those people. This is like everyone types it in, they're going to get very similar stuff. If everybody that's here right now typed in, or everybody that's taking this course types in the prompt of, what is it? Show me a guide to, how about this? Give me what, come on, Tyler, should have thought of an example. If we all typed in what influenced what, I'm sorry, I'm off the rails here. So give me a guide for teachers on using AI. Boom. We all type that in. We're all going to get a pretty generic, but probably still good answer. It's going to give us a prompt, okay? That is just defining your goal. G for grip stands for goal. Define what you're wanting. I want an AI guide for teachers. So it's going to create a guide for you for teachers. Now, that's just the general ask. It's what it's going to try to accomplish. If you want to improve that and make it a little bit more specific, a little bit better, you move from the G, which stands for goal, to the R, which stands for return format. What do you want it to look like? A way to make that more specific is you say, I want to create a guide for teachers on how to use AI, and I'd like it to look like a short workbook that teachers can use as they plan their lessons. So it's like, I want it to look like a workbook. I want it to be an outline. I want it to be, in 3 parts. Define what you want it to bring back. Like, I'm sending it out there. What do I want it to look like when I come back? If I told an artist, hey, go paint this for me. Go paint a picture of my favorite baseball player, Jackie Robinson. They're okay, cool. I can define by saying put that on a 8 by 10 piece of paper, sketch it on a note, on a napkin. I want you to put it on a 3 foot by 6 foot portrait that I'm going to hang in my living room. Like, I want to specify what it looks like in return. So define the goal. That's the G. R is return format. What do you want it to look like? The next one, to get even more specific, is identify issues. I do this one a lot, and I'll be honest, you guys, a lot of times I'll ask and then I'll get a result, and then I'll be like, ooh, can you take out this element or change this part of it? You got to identify the issues and warnings, things you don't want. Cut out things that you do not want it to do or include. So, for instance, if the goal is I want you to create a guide for teachers on using AI in the classroom. I want the return format to be in a workbook that teachers could fill out as they're, planning for their lessons. And then you could also say, and identifying issues, I want it to do not be generic. I want you to be specific and practical. Like, I don't want it to be just like everybody else in this area, or I don't want you to include this, or this is not for math teachers. No offense, math teachers. I love you. So it's like you want it to identify the issues it could have in there. And again, it's okay if you make a prompt and it's not perfect. It's okay to come in and go, hey, take this out of it, or change this part of it, or do something here to make it a little bit more of what I want. So it's okay to go in and identify those issues after it does the first round, the goal and the return format, and to clean it up. Honestly, you could probably do these one at a time. Ask it for something with a goal. Then you reply with a prompt and hit the return for, like, there might be a way for you to organize it in your brain, and you're getting more step-by-step views of what it's creating to see and get what you want out of it. So G for grip. G is goal. We define the goal. What do we want it to do? The R is the return format. What do we want it to look like? The I is identify issues, problems, warnings, things we don't want. And then P, this is the one that is most important if you want it to be what you actually want and be more specific. Because the GRI, okay, the goal, the return format, and the issues, what it's doing is it's pulling from its knowledge base, which is all of the internet. It's just going out to the internet and it's grabbing everything it can and it's bringing together and try to solve what your G is, your goal, okay? Whenever you add in that P is when you get real specific. That is your prior knowledge. You can also call it the content dump, but GRIC didn't sound as good as GRIP. Prior knowledge, content dump. Very often for me, if I'm doing all this in one prompt, at the goal, return format, then I'll have the identify the issues, and then I say, here is the information I want you to use first, or here is the information I want you to work with. And then I put a colon, which is the 2 dots, a colon. and then I dump the content in there. Whenever I make study guides for my kids, what I'll do is I'll say, like my son did this the other night. We were at dinner and he was about to study for something, and I have no clue. I would literally just be reading it off of his, the PDF his teacher gave him as a review. And I said, okay, well, buddy, let's type in a prompt for you to help you learn. And I started with the G for the goal. Say, I am a 8th grader who's trying to learn about, U.S. history in the Revolutionary War, period. So that's the goal. The goal is I'm trying to learn about this. Return format, I had it specify, say, act as a tutor and ask me questions based on the review I have for the test. And then also, if I get them wrong, help me learn to remember, or put in learning methods to help me remember and learn those things, period. You could even throw in, my son, he's really been into the show, what is it? The Office. So you say, also I know a lot about The Office, so if you can relate it to The Office at any point, if I miss it, that would be helpful, period. So that's like just identifying that return format. What I want it to look like. I wanted it to be back and forth. And then identify issues. And this is where I said into the prompt, while there are a lot of opinions about different aspects of the war and how everything went down, I would like for you to use the most common things that are provable based on what we know in history. And I want you to use the information I give you first, period. And then our P, which is prior knowledge, I said, here is the main things I want you to use for my review, colon. And then I copy pasted his whole review in there. And so literally he's asking, it's quizzing him question by question and then cleaning it up and helping him remember whatever it is he missed. Okay. And we're going to get in that. Not every time we type in a prompt over the next few, I like to call it prompt playground, where we go in and we play around with these prompts. But this is a great model. And if you want to write it down, if you want to screenshot this, print it off, I'll probably make an infographic in your workbook about this. If I don't, just email me and I'll go put it in there and create it later. So I love this method because I think it is a really good way to organize and get the best results out of our prompts, not something generic that everybody else would get if they typed it in. Another way to say this is when you're using your prompts as you're, trying the ones that we're working together, but then also I'm going to give you guys time to go in and do your own prompts and try your own stuff. Try to be so specific, you break it. That's what I always tell people. Try to be so specific in what you want that it messes up. And then whatever it messes up on, you go in and you clean it up. Okay, redo that, but make it blank. Go in and then take out blank. Or, hey, you're going this direction. I don't want that. Go this direction. And it's a reply versus a create the content from scratch. Does that make sense? I hope so. So the grip method. If you want, here in a second, I want you to go in and just try any prompt of anything you want and try the grip method. And then, let it in your notes or in the chat, toss in whatever it is and whatever you typed in is your grip method. And we'll all talk and discuss. Or if you're doing this in the masterclass on the tarveracademy.com/honor roll, if you're doing that, then, just write in your notes and then believe that you were right. So I'll see you guys in a second.